Guys, I know I haven't been posting in a while, but I'm gonna make up to that now. I know the only video that you have been seeing was the plushie video, but you clearly do not care about it. And also, I'm probably gonna do a part 2 to that. It's gonna be awesome, trust me. And I gotta say, the plushie video that I made was cool too.
He's only gonna have a
So you should do it more. Captain Underpants and the Perilous Plot for Professor Poopy Pants. The fourth epic novel by Dave Pilkey. In our last 3 adventures, we tried to save our crazy principal from disaster. He thought he was a real superhero, but he wasn't. We didn't think things could get any worse, but they did. Once upon a time, there were 2 cool kids named George and Harold. We are awesome. Me too. They had a mean old principal named Mr. Krupp. Blah, blah, blah. Mr. Krupp was very mean to George and Harold. Blah, blah, blah. So they bought the 3D hypno ring. They used it to hypnotize Mr. Krupp. You will obey us. Okie dokie. But they made a terrible mistake. You are now Captain Underpants. Haha, okay. Hey, come back, Mr. Krupp. Tra-la-la. Mr. Krupp thought he really was Captain Underpants, but he didn't have any superpowers. They had a lot of adventures. One time, they even got attacked by a UFO. Uh-oh. They all got taken to the spaceship, and George stole some alien superpower juice. Then Mr. Krupp got eaten by a big evil dandelion. You had to be there, so George gave him some superpower juice. Then he got superpowers. Now Captain Underpants has amazing strength. He can even fly, too. Holy cow. The only way George and Harold can stop Captain Underpants from causing trouble is by pouring water over on his head. This makes him turn back into Mr. Krupp. Hey, Bob. But beware, because whenever Mr. Krupp hears somebody snap their fingers, snap, snap, he turns back into you-know-who. Oh no, here we go again. Tra-la-la. The end? Chapter 1, George and Harold. This is George Beard and Harold Hutchins. George is the kid on the left with the tie and the flat top. Harold's the one on the right with the t-shirt and the bad haircut. Remember that now. All of the experts at Jerome Horowitz Elementary School had their opinions about George and Harold. Their guidance counselor, Mr. Rected, thought the boys suffered from ADD. The school psychologist, Miss Labler, diagnosed them with ADHD. And their mean old principal, Mr. Krupp, just thought they were just plain old BAD. But if you ask me, George and Harold simply suffered from IBSS, incredibly boring school syndrome. You see, George and Harold weren't really bad kids. They were actually right, good-natured boys. Their only problem was that they were bored in school. So they took it upon themselves to liven things up for everybody. Wasn't that thoughtful of them? Unfortunately, George and Harold's thoughtfulness got them into trouble every now and then. Sometimes it got them into a lot of trouble. And one time, it almost caused the entire planet to be taken over by a ruthless, maniacal, mad scientist guy in a giant robo-suit. But before I can tell you that story, I have to tell you this story. Chapter 2, All Hail New Swissland. As everybody knows, New Swissland is a small country just southeast of Greenland. You probably know all about New Swissland's natural resources and systems of government. But here's something about New Swissland that I'll bet you didn't know. Everybody in New Swissland has a silly name. Just ask their president, the Honorable Chuckles Jingleberry McMonkeyburger Jr., or his lovely wife Stinky. They'll tell you all about New Switzerland's good, proud, silly name heritage. They'll tell you about the cultural significance of silly names, and they'll probably tell you a really, really long, boring story of how this stupid tradition got started. We'll skip that part, okay? Just remember that everybody in New Switzerland has a silly name, from the richest to the poorest, from the dumbest to the smartest. And speaking of the smartest, let me introduce you to Professor Pippi P. Poopy Pants. That's a statue of him down there in the bottom right-hand corner of the page. Now, Pippi P. Poopy Pants was probably the smartest person in all of New Switzerland. He graduated at the head of his class at Chunky Q Boogernose University, and afterward spent all of his time creating wild and fantastic inventions. Let's look in on him, shall we? Back in the private laboratory, Professor Pippi P. Poopy Pants was just putting the finishing touches on two wonderful new inventions, the Shrinky Pig 2000 and the Goosey Grow 4000. Professor Poopy Pants called for his assistant Pork Belly Funky Skunk. Mr. Funky Skunk, Pippi yelled, I am now ready to test my new inventions. Pork Belly took notes while the professor aimed his Shrinky Pig 2000 at a hideous pile of trash. Berserk! A powerful beam of energy blasted the garbage heap. Suddenly, the large pile of trash shrank to the size of a gumball. Hooray, it works! cried Professor Poopy Pants. Now I must try the Goosey Grow 4000. Pippi and Pork Belly aimed the Goosey Grow 4000 at an ordinary hot dog with mustard. Glazert! Went another bright beam of energy. Suddenly, the hot dog grew and grew until it crashed through the walls of the laboratory. We did it! Exclaimed Pork Belly. What do you mean, we? Yelled Professor Poopy Pants. I did it. I'm the genius. You're just a lowly assistant, and don't you forget it. Sorry, boss, said Pork Belly. With these two inventions, exclaimed Professor Poopy Pants, I will be able to solve the world's garbage problem and create enough food for everyone on the entire planet. Finally, it looked as if all of the Earth's dilemmas would be fixed forever. But who would have believed that in just a few short weeks, Professor Poopy Pants would be trying to take over the planet in a fit of frenzied rage. Well, dear readers, the tragic tale is about to unfold. But before I can tell you that story, I have to tell you this story.